from the world. My name is Sean Driver, and I'm jacked. We've got football. We've got League Two action. We're in the EFL. Wrexham starting. 15 years since we've had a game in Saturday. That all changes. 7 o'clock in the morning where I'm waking up. Hey, that's fine. I'll deal with it. And for everybody else in Wales, I'm looking forward to you guys having a good time and enjoying the start. But going to start a new series for every single league game that we play. Got to introduce the teams because we don't know who to hate. We don't know why we hate them. And so I've started to do a deep dive into the competition to figure out. And so with that, MK Dons, you're up. Who are ya? This is the Red Horde. Milton Keynes Dons FC, you're up. Nickname the Dons Franchise FC. We'll get into that later. So let's talk about Milton Keynes. It's a city that was essentially created in the 60s to try to decluster London, to move people out of London, to give them an opportunity to go somewhere else. And so it was a manufactured city in the 60s. It's developed over time and then eventually started to need necessities as it got larger, one of those being the Foot Club. So where do we sit now? Milton Keynes, population 256,000 back in 2021. The stadium name, Stadium MK. I'll give you a tour to that really quickly here from where it is from the racecourse. Opened in 2007, has a capacity of 30,500. So that sets it up as one of the larger in League Two. Distance away from the racecourse, it's 150 miles, 241 kilometers. That's about a 3-hour drive. And what do you need to know about Milton Keynes Dons as far as next year? Turnover last year, League One, £6,465,000. They're going to be a little bit lower than that, largely because you can always anticipate lower gate receipts when a team goes from League One down to League Two, and more substantially, the league distributions are going to get probably about £1 million less from league distributions. So that's where they sit. Expectations for the season moving forward. They did rank last year as the highest of the relegated teams, so that means they come in with some strength, and they're predicted, according to the betting odds, to finish 8th next year. So they're in the hunt, they're in the running. There are about 12 teams that are considered to be in that group of teams that are shooting for it, and 12 teams that are looking to survive. And this is one team that's certainly anticipated to be in the hunt going forward. Top third club looking for a return to League One. And so we go to Google Earth Pro, and we're going to take the tour from North America to look down on Milton Keynes. You'll see the race course as it goes flying by. Again, 3-hour drive, and that's generally where it's located. A relatively new facility, right? 20 years, 19 years, the club's been around. So last season demoted from League One, where they finished 21st with 45 points. That was the highest, as I said, of the 4 relegated squads. And they were just 1 point away from safety, and it all came about on the last day. So heartbreak for Milton Keynes last year. Cambridge United pulled out a win over Forest Green Rovers that leapfrogged them over top of Milton Keynes, who was only able to secure a draw away to Burton Albion last year. So this all being 2 years from an opportunity where Milton Keynes had the opportunity to move up to the championship. They lost in the playoffs 2 seasons ago. So let's talk about the club. I referenced them as Franchise FC, and I did that for a reason, and this is the number one reason why you hate the MK Dons. And that is Pete Winkleman, who created the stadium, was laser focused on bringing a club. He queried a number of teams that may end up in Luton Town, Luton Town was one of them. Queried a number of teams to move to Milton Keynes. One of them, Luton Town. Crystal Palace was on the list. Barnet was on the list. The QPR was on the list, as well as Wimbledon. And so 19 years ago, the Dons stripped Wimbledon away and moved them over to Milton Keynes. And starting a new club and working its way up the tiers. They just basically assumed the role that Wimbledon had, left them without a club. And then as a consequence, AFC Wimbledon, also in League Two, will see them the following weekend. They started a Phoenix club, rose from the ashes. They've climbed the ranks, and now this season, they're going to be facing off the Dons Derby, the Wimbledon Derby, just a couple of names I've heard, but there's an obvious rivalry there. The club gets stolen. It's now fallen into down the pyramid. Wimbledon's climbed back up, and so that's going to be an exciting time to watch. I'm probably going to have to see if I can get an opportunity to follow that one as well. They play in the, as I said, Stadium MK, 2007. That was developed by Pete Winkleman. He's the current owner, person largely responsible for relocating the team. As to the kit, Milton Keynes has a standard traditional white home kit, the big Suzuki S red in the middle of it, and black and red on the sleeves. The away kit, traditional, the red with the black and red up on the collars and the trim. And then they've got a third jersey, which is blue with the red and blue trim. So they're good looking kits. I'm not going to deny it, but they're still franchise FC and they can get stuffed. Just take a moment and talk about the gaffer. And when it comes to MK, the MK Dons, they've definitely been on the managerial merry-go-round with people getting on, people getting off. Last season, they started Mark Jackson. He took over the responsibilities from Liam Manning when the team was sitting in 23rd. Didn't do much better. And so he ended up being sacked. Now you've got Graham Alexander, who's there. He's a new coach. He's got experience from League One, League Two, the National League, and the Scottish Premiership. It does appear that he was well liked. Graham Alexander was commented on by the manager at Salford City when in the National League, who said that it was a regret in sacking him and that he deserved to stay there longer. So there may be some hope with the gaffer to be able to draw something out of this newly reshaped MK Dons team. Want to jump into the players then, and here's the theme when it comes to the MK Dons, and I look at them as they are very strong on the wings. But man, are they weak down the middle. And so I'm going to focus on that. It's a team that doesn't score a bunch of goals, but they also don't give up a bunch. So up front, they have one guy only, and he's going to run the ship for them. It's Mo Issa, joined in July 2021. One of the interesting stats with Mo is taking a look at his penalty conversion rate. He's taken 6 over his career. He's scored 4 and he's missed twice. It's a conversion rate. I know it's a small sample size, but it's a conversion rate of 66.67%, which is well below the 78% norm that was in League Two anyways last year. So you have to ask the question, is that indicative of what we can expect from him, that he just doesn't have the boot as much as he has the wheels? So the kid can run, but I don't think he's going to be picking corners and hammering the ball through people. He typically scores by scrambles in the box where it falls on his feet. That happened 2 or 3 times. But 8 of his goals just straight up running past people. So that's who they've got up front. Don't see a lot of alternatives other than that. There's no real alternatives. Will Grigg's son is setting on his career, and so he moved on to Chesterfield. The rest of their options are much younger. I think they're going to need some help from service delivery from Jonathan Lako on the right side, Nathan Holland, a midfielder, on the left-hand side. And really that's going to be the connection, is what kind of service does Mo get? So let's have a look at the midfield, and this is where the problems are here in the center back merry-go-round. There was a massive exodus of midfielders from the MK Dons, with 3 moving out. Nathan Holland on the left, I mentioned him before. He led with assists for the club, 0.24 over 90 minutes. But the MK Dons offense will require more than just a single featured attack. And in that regard, I think there's 3 players, maybe 4, that they're going to have to rely on. Offensively, you've got Alex Gilby, 28. He's a transfer from Stevenage, where he played on loan to help them to their promotion last year. He's been a player with the MK Dons before, player of the year back in 2018, 2019 for them. But in League Two last year, he appeared in 39 games for Stevenage, where he was outside the top third in really all relevant offensive stats. He maintained a key pass per 90-minute rate in the lower half. So he's going to be asked for a bit of a renaissance to be that guy. There's going to have to be an improvement for Mr. Gilby at 28. But if he's unable to find his former magic, the question then is, well, what's left? And I guess you've got 2 potential options, because I don't think the third is an offensive option at all. You've got a couple of young Irish players, Connor Grant at 21. You've got Dawson Devoy at 21. They're going to be asked to play an increased role. Grant was named Young Player of the Year for the MK Dons and has experience playing in League Two with Rochdale previous to this. His pass rate, though, however, had him near or below the bottom half of the league in passing and crossing statistics. So that was 30% for successful passes, 34% for pass completion rate. There was a little bit of an improvement with key passes, but he's going to have to improve those numbers. One thing that he will not have to improve is Grant had some exceptional dribbling rates that had them in the top third of League One. So expect him to be a guy who's going to be better to move the ball with his feet than who's going to be passing the ball. I think you're going to have to pressure him and make sure that he's not able to have that time and that space to make those connections. And that certainly fits with trying to keep the ball away from Mo with his speed. So you're going to look to them to do others. They did bring in just recently a new transfer, Michael Jordan Williams. Interesting name. Michael Jordan Williams, a Welshman, transferred from League One, promoted side Bolton. But he's a pure defensive midfielder. No goals, no assists, 2 shots last year, none of them on target. Never dribbles. I think he's... I just envision it. I didn't watch a lot of Bolton games, but I just envision it that he's an on the boot, off the boot sort of passer, setting things up through the back with safe passing. And that's why his passing stats are good. 70th percentile, but I think he's probably had high volume with some safe passes there. So it's tough to take anything away from that. But he only had 1 cross. He only had 2 key passes last year, and that ranked him in the 7th percentile and 19th percentile. So they're really in the midfield, I think, going to be looking for somebody to step up in the center, and I don't know what that will be. Defensively, this is the second consecutive season of the MK Dons in the search for a center back. They just can't seem to find one. Cameron Norris joins to bolster the right side from Newport County in League Two. He was Player of the Year for the last 2 seasons there. So, as I said, strong on the wings. Dean Lewington, is he ever going to pass the torch? I mean, you look at his age. He's played all of the seasons with the MK Dons. Like, that's how extensive his career was. He even had 2 with the former Wimbledon team before they moved to MK. So he featured in 28 games as a center back. You've got Norman on the side, you have Harvey to be capable on the other wing. And now the center backs, I mean, they're familiar, they're entrenched. Outside of Lewington that I was talking about, you've got Jack Tucker, who had 38 games. He's the least experienced of the squad. The rest of them have been there for an extended period, but their backline statistics were average or worse in League One last season. Lewington led the charge with the best minutes per goal concede rate. He had an impressive rate of clearances, 79th percentile. He had shots blocked at 82nd percentile. So you'd expect that he's going to provide something for the club. I think where the real big question is can O'Hara do more? He had a great aerial statistics, 83rd percentile in aerial duels, 86th percentile in shots blocked. His tackling stats, his ground duels, however, were atrocious, and his interceptions were weak. So there's a guy who I think is somebody that's going to be there to set play, clear balls, and that sort of thing. But as far as movement away from the back line, he's not the guy that I think is going to be doing that. So they're going to have to establish somebody. They throw in another Kiwi journeyman, Tommy Smith, they just brought in after a trial. If I'm the MK Dons, I'm panicked in the center backs and in the midfield, and so I'm suggesting direct play. This is to be a game where Mullen would be perfect because he's that guy, right? And so I think you're going to be looking at Elliot Lee and saying just run at him and go at him. I like Dalby and Palmer now for this start and not Waters, because Waters I think plays more on the corners and more around the edge. And I think you're going to want to bring people that are going to be direct to goal and not play to their strengths. So we'll see what Parkey does. Hey, I'm not a manager. I'm plastic. So what do I know? Goal, big downgrade. No offense to McGillivray, but when you have Jamie Cumming, who played for MK Dons last year, he featured in 4,140 minutes over 46 games for the Dons last year. He earned the Player of the Year. He was the Players' Player of the Year. And so he's moved on. But really, you're looking at McGillivray, who moves from Burton Albion this year, where he was, which was a League One team, and he found his way into 19 games. He's got some experience, but this is a big step back in goal to go with the 30-year-old here, and it could be disastrous, especially if McGillivray gets a knock or he struggles. I don't know if the young guys that they've brought in, or Harness, are going to be able to hold up for the club. I feel a lot better when you start to go through the statistics and you assess where Wrexham's at compared to other teams around there. I can see now why the betting odds as I'm going through these are saying we should be okay, even in Mullen's absence, is we've talked about we need better cover on the left wing. We need potentially some improvements that could happen up front, even when Mullen was there looking for options. But you look at the gaping holes that one of the top third teams has. I say, just looking at the stats from Footy Stats or Transfer Market, and the MK Dons, not a weak team, expected to be solid, but man, they have questions. Now, throw it all out the window. This is first game of the year. Everybody's going to be healthy, well, unless they took a knock while they were overseas playing in the U.S. But it'll be a fun one, and I hope they bury these guys. Franchise FC deserves no love. There are two clubs that, because of their governance model, I just won't get on board. This is one of them. And so that's why you should hate the MK Dons. So comparing the MK Dons to the North American model, who are they? They are the Phoenix Coyotes, Arizona Coyotes, taken away from the Winnipeg Jets, or the Colorado Avalanche, taking a team away from the Quebec Nordiques, or the Los Angeles Rams. Any of those relocated teams, Oakland Raiders twice, now in Vegas, right? Over time, you may get to be more accustomed, but I think the travesty here is it's not just the movement of a franchise, hence the name Franchise FC. It is the historical connection to a community being robbed and foregoing that and not climbing the ladder by doing this franchise-like move. It's not part of English football, and that's why they're offside. Another comparison for the North American viewers, if you were to compare the MK Dons to a type of food, I guess you would probably go with one of the Coca-Cola bad knockoffs. Let's go with Orange Vanilla Coke. It's just not the same and a bad idea overall. All the power in the world to the MK Dons fans. I hear you're great supporters, but you should have gone through the trials and tribulations as everybody else has done. Winkleman made you avoid all of that, and for that, we hate you. Up the town. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We've got football. It's the first game, and I see that there's a bunch of people already online, and we've gone from all over the place. We've got Argentina's showed up, so that's awesome. Caesar, welcome to the show. For those of you who haven't been here before, my name is Sean Driver, and what we're doing here is we've just got the live chat that's here from whatever device that you are on, whether that be YouTube, Facebook, elsewhere. Feel free to join in on the chat. We're just waiting for the game to start. James McLean, yeah, that's a shocker, and out of nowhere, gotta love. I don't know if you guys follow Wonder Boy on Twitter. If you don't, and every time he shows a meme before a signing, you kind of have that moment, so where you're like, what is coming? And so that happened yesterday. And so, hey, Brendan, thanks for joining. I'm jacked up. It's still early in the morning. The coffee's run. I'm waiting to get going. I'm waiting for it to show up on iFollow, which is where we're going to be following this one and seeing how that all works out. And so, yes, this is the day we've been looking forward to 15 days. I don't know what your thoughts were on the preview and putting that before I put it all together. And I thought, well, we have that time running. So what do we think about that? Roster lineup is out, and a couple of surprises. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if you're ever curious. On Twitter, Wrexham officially puts it out, so if you get a chance to look at it, go ahead. So a surprise on the starting lineup, two of them, that I was shocked with is, so you've got Fozzie's in net, and then at the back, maybe Surprise's not getting in, and I would have expected him to get in. Instead, O'Connell's in. You've got Taser, you've got, excuse me for 1 second. Excuse me, I should have hit the mic button, came up. Who else is in? O'Connor, Barnett, Jones, Cannon, Lee, Mendy, Waters, and Dalby. I would have expected that it would have been Palmer that would have been one of the two. I thought it was between Dalby and Waters as to who would be running with Palmer. But Palmer is on the bench and ready to come in to substitute. Howard's number 2 in goal. Hayden on the bench. The other two surprises are the substitutes. Hosanna made his way in as a potential substitute with Ford and Mr. Davies, and the other surprise, Bickerstaff, is and maybe he played that well while he wasn't overseas and doing his thing, and they decided to give him a start, or maybe that's the age thing. So an interesting one there. I don't know if O'Connor's on as center back because I assume Barnett's going to be on the right, Mendy's going to be on the left. Cannon. I I mean they've listed him as though he was in the center back. So, but I didn't expect. Yeah, Andrew, I'm with you. To start, you expected. So you expected Waters to be in, and so I had an expectation that Palmer was going to be running with Waters, or if I was wrong, that it was still going to be Palmer and Dolby then. So interesting. Anyways, so I'm waiting. I assume most of you are outside of Andrew, who's looking for the game over there. I'm sure. I'm not sure if it's going to be on TV. I haven't heard anything over in the UK or not. So I'm sure you guys are waiting for that. I'm waiting to see what the iFollow kicks out as far as when I'm able to log in here and get the show underway. So yeah, early morning, the brain's still unfogging, as it were. That was an interesting process. So we've got a summary. It says we can watch live now. So let's hit the button and see what we end up getting here. It should be time. I'm just excited. I'm excited that this game needs going a little bit loud in my ear here. So I'm going to turn that down. And so I don't know if you saw the preview. I was curious they were going to go within the center backs, and so they've gone with Tucker and O'Hara. So that'll be interesting. Tucker, the least experienced with his 38 starts, but I guess last year for them that I wasn't sure who they would go with. And we're on. Wow, that was really quick. No prep time, and we're back in it. For those of you, I don't know if there's people who haven't been able to watch the game or find it. You're on iFollow. If you're looking for me to play the match, I'll be doing that. I'll declare that out at the outset. This is where the game is. Oh man, it's nice to see the race course and to hear the chants and to just feel this. I'm so excited. So, and if you're not watching the game, Wrexham going from left to right on the computer screen or on your iPad or TV, and in our thirds, and the Dons are in their blue, in their blue thirds, and they're going from right to left. Can get ready when I'm so you're maybe stuck a little bit with us giving the play by or me, whoever it is, giving the play-by-play here, it sounds like, Andrew, which I'm happy to do, to give a little bit of additional insight, but it's always nice to know that. Thanks, Caesar. Yeah, a favorite player is Mullen. I can definitely see that for a lot of people. I don't know if I have a favorite player. Uh-oh, a little bit of a turnover there, and the Dons are turning it around the other way. I'm going to have to say O'Connor's humming my favorite after watching him during the set pieces. The stuff that he's been doing is pretty impressive. I'm unaware of a way to watch the stream for free. If somebody knows of a way, they can certainly share it. I'm not allowed to show it for copyright reasons, so I do apologize for that, and we'll see how it goes. And I don't know, Andrew or anybody else who's in the UK, is this one of the games that got picked up that's on TV over there or not? So long throw for the Dons in from the right side, whistled down, free kick Wrexham. We're at the 2-minute mark if you're following along to where I am, so that you want to catch along. Don't be ahead of you and spoiling a goal or a moment. Or if you want to time it up. So 2 minutes and 15 seconds in is where I'm at. So it does look to me like O'Connor's in the back, which may be somewhat surprising. I mean, you've got Hayden there, you've got Boyle as options, but maybe they just thought that the midfield strength was as such that they needed to put him in the back. So far, I mean, it's early days. There's not a lot of possession either way, but it certainly seems to be that as far as the loan goes, MK Dons has had possession on our side of the pitch more than we've been over there. We haven't
really had any continued possession on their side. I know that that's a Canadian broadcasting reference, and if anybody expects me to be Mark Griffiths or Bob Cole, they're going to be sorely disappointed. I do try my best, but I'm just here to add another extra layer to the broadcast. So a little bit of possession is always nice in there. And man, that's like that view of the stadium. Did that not make you smile? Like I'm happy here. Like this is life. Sorry, I don't know of a way where you can watch it other than through iFollow. If and you can get iFollow by going to the Wrexham website and oh, good throw by Tozer into the box from the right side. Lots of people around and Mo with the pace. Or that wasn't Mo, I guess. Mo's in the center. Had some certainly had some pace there. But going back to it, if you're looking for the game, the only way that I'm aware of getting it internationally and legally is through iFollow, which means you go to the Wrexham website, you go to iFollow, and you have to pay. That's $45 Canadian, whatever that would be for your domestic currency, and that's for a month, or else you can pay for the entire year if you wish. I don't know of any other source, any other stream, and so if you're looking for the game, otherwise you're logging in to listen to. I believe Mark Griffiths is doing the audio still, and then you're stuck listening to him and potentially me if you want to follow along or follow the chat while you're. So those are the options I'm aware of. So we had a brief moment there, but it looks like MK's back again with control on the right side. I did like the professional breakup there. They were counter punching and the ball went out, and I didn't see who it was because I was turned away, but grabbed the ball and gave it a toss downfield to the chagrin of the Dons players. Sir Dale, I am happy to read out the where I'm at right now. So if you're watching this, I am at 5 minutes and 20 seconds as of now. Oof. I thought that went in behind. I thought that went in behind. O'Connell, I don't even know what he was doing there. There was nobody around him. Bugger me. The ball comes into the box. And O'Connell just went to go and steer it and steered it right into our net. So we're down 1-0, and that sucked. And that sounded like a Wrexham chant, but that's not going to be right. Oh, that's frustrating. I don't even. To be fair, MK's come out strong. I mean, they've had possession. I don't think they've had anything that sniffed around that really put us at risk until that play, and there was one throw into the box. But we haven't been there yet. We haven't shown up. So hopefully we can find our feet under us and we can get going here. Flash scores is confirmed. I can understand why. That was just I don't know why early morning eyes, but when I saw it happen, I didn't see the net move. I thought it went to the right of the goal, but it was just from a set play, kick into the box. He's got really nobody pressuring him, and he just like he could have left that. It just would have rolled away to a goal kick to the left. And I get that at the time he can't really maybe determine that there's nobody there, but that was just unfortunate. Here they come again. Off the woodwork. Holy, we got to find our legs here. So off of a Wrexham player and then right in front of this player, and they just pummeled that one off the left, the woodwork to the right of Fozzie, the far left. Man. Well, welcome to League Two, everybody. We know that every game is going to be. I guess we knew that last year, and we were a second half club, so we can take a deep breath potentially. I'm about 4 minutes behind, am I? Yikes. Not much I can do about it. It's the joys of the internet where they funnel everything in, and then they funnel it back. And I think actually I'm live. It might be the stream to you guys as well. So Barnett here. Come on, let's do something. Nice move. Oh, brilliant move. Didn't know what to do when he got there. He wasn't sure if he wanted to shoot, not sure if he wanted to pass. And I don't know if that was that a shot or was that a pass? You can see the match in Argentina, but the only way that I know to watch the match in Argentina is to go to the Wrexham iFollow website. I'm scrolling down below. And you go to the Wrexham website at that iFollow and register, and it's going to be whatever $45 Canadian equivalent for the month is, or for the year. So that's the only way you can watch it. Leku Mo's right there. Oh man, 2-0. Well, ouch. So that was just bad defense, and not what I surprised. Watching the goals that Isa scored last year, all 11 of them, he did not score a goal like that, where he dribbled and picked apart more than one person. Like he received that, and that's O'Connor doing a swipe at the ball and misses it, and he goes back to the right. And like he beat two defenders directly. That was horrible defense. That wasn't just bad defense. That was, I don't know. I mean, give it to Mo for having the guts to take him on. But when do you see that in pro soccer where somebody dangles, would be the hockey term, like he dangled two defenders? And then Mo Isa just got a yellow card for punting the ball away. That didn't make any sense, and we'll take it. Well, that's sobering. If you take the damper off, and so moves right. O'Connor, Hayden, he just dangled everybody. Starting to look at decisions. I know you need O'Connor on the pitch, but putting him in the middle, got Hayden and Boyle. An interesting decision, perhaps. Yes, I suppose I should change my little graphic. It's in. Welcome to League Two. And 2-0 bad guys. Lots of time left. Is that the positive? Let's turn the positive over and at least get some control here and some pressure going the other way. That's what we're looking for. What, I make a comment about a player on the preview saying that he's really got pace and nothing else as a forward, and well, I got educated. A little bit of humble pie there. Barnett on the right side, looking for somebody. Back over to Jones. Low on the cross, but still with possession. Elliot, right through. Water's unable to pick that up. So at least we were sniffing around the goal, right? Take that one. That was an interesting. Mo's pushing the envelope a little bit. I mean, you're not going to get a second yellow for that little flick onto the field. But why would you put that into the frame of reference? Everybody else is back. It's just you that needs to get back, and not that big of a deal. Because I would just be foolish picking up a second yellow here. Tozer with a quick throw in instead of something deep into the box. Jones has 14 minutes, 10 seconds in. We've gone quiet in the chat. Everybody's feeling the same way I am. Oh, that was a good ball in. O'Connor just not able to get up to it. Thanks for that, Dale. Which does remind me, I did go on to, I do have a website. I haven't really been working on it recently, to be fair. I did change, so supposedly allow for up-to-the-date scoring. And I don't know if it's doing that or not, but I'm curious if, well, Andrew's doing the flash score, whether my service even maybe faster than the one that you have. I don't know yet. I'm still comfortable with that thought. I think that getting to 3 goals is a little bit tough, but I'm still good with the thought that we've got time to come back. So let's go with it. I'm just hoping to see some continued pressure for a while. Yeah, Andrew, it was for kicking the ball away, and it wasn't just slightly kicking the ball away. He punted it away like it was a high ball, probably the height of the race course, and just for no reason. Barnett with the cross in, Jones right off of a head. Elliott's there, knocks it down, another cracker, and Cannon pumps it over the top. You know what? I'll take that. Let's get this pressure going. Let's turn this thing around. I think the biggest thing for me is you just don't like to have a start that looks this rough. I do think that we've got time to come back. So and they're getting stuck in. They're professionals and they'll do their thing. and we'd certainly have the talent and the gumption. I hate the idea of giving up any points at home. Good stuff, Andrew. I'm glad you're there. Cross in, 2 heads missed. Cannon over to Jones, down to Barnett. Crosses in. Home in the box. Lot of blue. Oh, that's going to be a foul. Yeah. We'll take that. We'll take that every day. Like, let's get the action going and sniff around the box. Nothing there. The Mendy challenge. Well, I don't know if I'd like to blame Bishop for a lot of things. I don't think we can on this one because Mullen wouldn't back on either of those goals to either head that one away instead of or to try and stop Mo Isa coming in and dribbling past and through as many defenders as he did. O'Connell with the giveaway. Well, I was looking at this and it's not set up right, so I'm going to have to sniff around and figure out what's going on there because I'm not going to be paying for something that's not doing what we want. Still into the box. It's pinballing around, lands on an MK boot, and they've still got control looking and pressuring. Lots of time. Let's try and get one before the half, and everything changes. Everything when it's a 1-goal game. Or as they say in hockey, 2-0, it's the worst lead in hockey. Yes, I will accept that. For the Dons, they had, I believe it was a 0.93 goals per 90 minutes. Standard set, yes, League One last year. But it's not what I expected. I expected the game to be a 0-0. You score one, probably done enough. Ooh, that was a bad tackle. Waters with that looked dangerous to me. I'd be interested to see the replay. Was that Lee or was it Waters that did that tackle? Or unless, Brandon, you're just ahead of me. Oh, it was Lee. Ugly. Cannon's been everywhere, hasn't he been? On both sides of the pitch. Oh, Jones with a bit of a turnover, but we collect it, able to get it down, but MK Dons wins the aerial duel, and here they come the other way up against us. O'Connell there with a... Is he reaching into his pocket afterwards? Because he wasn't going to give one originally. That is odd. Tell me if you saw that. I considered whether it was because of the shoulder that O'Connell gave there on that tackle, but it didn't look like the referee was going to give anything. And that's odd because it actually looked like the one time where I've seen a player convince a referee to give a card after he'd made a conclusion that he wasn't going to give a card. Like, he didn't look as though he was searching him out, and didn't look like it was going to be a thing until started to chirp in his ear, and then he ran over and gave O'Connell, who has been a sore spot, O'Connell, for me. That was maybe some frustration in that tackle. Free kick into the box, and we've got it going the other way. Counter. Lone man back clears it out. Welcome to the world of being connected, Andrew. Yeah, Brendan, I saw that the same way I did. Dalby all the way across to Bendy. No, not enough. Must have taken a deflection out through there, because just not enough on that one. That's a good ball. Lee needed to grow like 6 inches in the off season. How come nobody took care of that? Missed on the interplay, but the ball's still there. Hey, Tokens. Welcome to the chat. Glad you're here. Up the town. It's been a frustrating start, but we're starting to get into it now. Took us about 15 minutes before of game time before the squad woke up. But I'd say at least from this point, it's been 50-50, because MK certainly had control, possession, and opportunities for the first 20 minutes, first 15 minutes of the half. Yeah, Andrew, I think it is probably 4 minutes behind. I'm at the 26-minute mark, and I don't know if it's because it's got to get repackaged, right? I'm watching it get streamed to you guys. I might be on my own iFollow, gets streamed through the system, and comes back out to the person. So you guys are probably 4 minutes behind me. You know what? I'm going to bring it up on my phone. And I'm still watching I've got it open, what's happening, and I'm still talking. So it looks like it's just the repackaging process is taking some time to get there. So I'm at 27 minutes and 15 seconds if people need to nudge their viewers behind. Yeah, it looks like, because I'm certainly behind here. Yeah, I've been impressed with Barnett, though, that direct down the side. And this, you know what this proves? This proves that I know nothing about football, because I thought the Dons were weaker on the wings and strong down on the wings and weaker down the center. And if you had asked me what my thoughts were from just watching for 27 minutes of a game, I'd say the inverse is true, because they've had control of the midfield, and it's been the success, at least down the right side for us, that's gotten us there. So Oh, well, that's interesting. As we get more and more people that are coming in here, what the tolerance level should be for blocking people, whether we I mean, I'm happy to let people from other clubs come and join in on the conversation as long as they're not gonna be, uh, difficult. So, Andrew, that's interesting, and I'm assuming it wasn't that bad previously, um, for the US games, that it was a 4-minute package. I don't have a mechanism to speed it up, but it is the only thing I can suggest is potentially, slowing yours down. Oh, kick into the box, nothing there. Is slowing yours down and backing it up. I guess with the radio, you can't do that. It'd have to be online, but that's be the only suggestion that I could have. But yeah, with respect to blocking people, Laco again, not able to get around us. They're coming though. But yes, tolerance for blocking. Whether you guys think that it should be anybody chirps and says anything, they get booted and blocked, or what your thoughts are, because I guess today's just not a lot of tolerance, I guess, in a 2-0 game. Turf that guy right away. No, I wouldn't say they're one of the worst teams. They're ranked. I mean, you take the betting odds. The Dons are set to be eighth. If you just take that as an idea as to where they are, they're certainly in that top third that's looking for promotion. There's 8 to 12 teams that are paying to be hunting down promotion. MK Dons are one of them. So I was hoping that the power of the race course, the excitement of the start, that we'd be able to get to at least a draw, and I'm hoping we can get to at least a draw. That's where my tolerance would be. But you hate the idea of giving away points at home, first game of the season. Um, no, they weren't the worst team in League One. They were the fourth worst team in League One. Um, just passed up by Cambridge United in the last game of the year, and they played well. I mean, you look at their team stats. Oddly enough, they were a team that played better away than at home. Oh, come on, you guys. Paint needs to get stripped off the walls during the half, because now we're just making lazy mistakes where you can't even get your right foot out fast enough. I missed who that was. It looks like O'Connell again. Yeah, it was O'Connell. Not a good first half. I'm trying to think of a player who has stood out with as rough a first half or a half of football that since I've seen Wrexham since they started streaming for us in North America. But O'Connell's got this has to be up near the top of the pile for worst halves I've seen by a Wrexham player, with the own goal. Hammer that. Hammer. Oh, so I'm reacting to the Lee opportunity. Now everybody knows I'm behind. But yes, Lee does need to keep that down. And does that mean that we caught up here? Because if you're, or did you just wait for me and you knew what my reaction was? Yeah, I'm with you. No team's ever gone 46-0, and there's going to be some level of adjustment. That is absolutely true. But we are trying to get to 88 points. If you see, one of the videos I did was about what do we need to get to promotion. 88 points is the benchmark that assures us of at least promotion and a 50-50 chance at being the championship team based on the last 20 years of points history. And so you start taking away 3 points, and it's frustrating. And you know what? It's got to be fair play to the Dons. They've earned it. I mean, the free play, own goals happen. Obviously, there are always mistakes. That one was pretty bloody obvious, especially considering there was nobody around, and maybe that's communication and nobody helping him out that he didn't need to make a play on the ball, because that ball would have just rolled harmlessly to the side and out of play, and we would have had a goal kick. But I get it; things are happening quick. And then the second one, though, that second goal, that one's going to sting, because you can't let a forward just dribble past at least 2 guys with 4 other people sitting with their hands in their pockets. And so and then you have O'Connell picking up the yellow. And then you have him being lazy on the right side, just not getting to a ball that was a foot in front of him as he watches it get past. That's just, and even that, like, he's got to go to ground with a little bit tiny bit of pressure on to make a pass because he'd lost where the ball was in his feet. Oh, that was an enterprising pass from Jones looking for Waters. "36 minutes." And then there is the new rule change. I don't know if you guys noticed that. I guess we're going to see that in 9 minutes time. They're not stopping the clock inside the stadium, so I assume they're going to be doing the same for our broadcast. Not going to be stopping the clock, so it'll continue to run instead of just randomly or unknowingly following what the injury time is. So there will be an opportunity to see that going both in stadium and, I anticipate, on the clock. Oh, Waters would have been on a run if he was able to keep his foot on that ball. Oh, and Knotts is down to 10 men too. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on other teams around, and especially Knotts. I know last year there was a lot of respect and duly earned by Knotts, but and when we were out, Ryan was sort of propping them up and supporting them. I don't have the same affinity for Knotts being a National League team coming up and all that sort of stuff. Maybe it's largely because of the fans. That I thought he got the ball on that tackle. Sorry, off no link that I can help you out with. You've got to be paying for it through the subscription below, or else a dodgy Fire Stick, or finding it on your own. Dale, totally allowed. I absolutely get that part of the frustration. So just waiting on the free kick here. I don't know, Brendan, did you think that was a foul? Because I actually thought that he got ball and pushed it out, and the guy that just ended up sort of taking the easy out and falling over top of him. Yeah, okay. Seemed late. Kicking from the corner. That's a free kick going the other way, sir. Really? I mean, the reason we had to clear as ugly as we did is because they just ran us over. I- I'm missing what the crowd's getting upset about. Was that just the delay in getting it in? Oh, that was a good pass in. Oof, thank you, Fozzie. Oh, let's get a counterattack going off of this or something. Jeepers. It just seems like balls are getting past us. Like even simple headers like that one that came back into the box looks like there were 6 guys. That's a handball. Yeah, just go the other way. North America, we call that the ma and pa defense, where you're not sure who's going to take it, so neither of you do. It just splits you right through the middle. Maybe Brendan will correct me if it's not a North American thing and just a Canadian thing. It's always a beautiful thing when Bradford's losing. The frustrating part for me is there's really 2 clubs I hate because of their sports governance. MK Dons is one, Bradford's the other. Um, there are teams like Tranmere and Stockport that, because of their fans, I find them exceptionally annoying. But Barnett direct cross in. Oh, hammer that. Oh, Mendy. Yes. Ah. Thank you, Mendy. How many times did we have to get a shot at that one? Like that was Lee gets a crack. Mendy. Whoo. Barnett down the right side, knocked down, and then Waters has a crack off, and then back with the rebound right to Mendy, who punches that in with the left foot. Get in. Mendy, you beautiful, beautiful soul. Whew. Whew. Let's get another one before the half. Let's set this thing back straight. Get in. Oh, good clear out of the box. Let's get some possession now. Now we're feeling it. Well, if your over under in your betting odds was first goal in the EFL in 15 years, who was going to get it? And you went with Mendy, you're probably going to get some money because that's not who I would have picked. I mean, how many did he have last year? Mendy, 4 goals last year and all in the entire season. Obviously, we know the one that was his most famous, but not what I would have expected. But I'll take it. We're on the board. Whew. Let's get into it. And we're a second half club, so now I feel a lot better about things. You'll have to tell me why, Andrew. Why is this? Vamos. Vamos. Get in. You'll have to tell me why, Andrew, that this is a weird one. Oh. Well, how did they fast forward me? I'm only 2 minutes behind. It's fascinating. Goal number 2 against Knots. Thought Mullen was going to take that one in the center. And away it goes over to Mendy. I mean, we're always going to remember that one, right? That goal will get replayed over and over and over and over and over again. Lots down the right side. Yeah, lost his right shoulder. Yeah, Dolby, you got a little bit lazy there on that one. Is that where you think McLean's going to go? Is on to Mendy's side? Because that's the question that I have: is where does McLean fit in? The MK Dons coach Dale said that they had no depth. I mean, they don't. um, but I'm surprised that the Dons coach would have said that. I'm with you, M. Oh, and that's odd. So they're not doing it, at least in stadium. I'll be interested to know, Andrew, if you're talking to somebody around town. Well, I guess you're in real, but if there is a Wrexham viewer who's here and watching along with us, hold on, hold on, hold on. MK sniffing around the box with lots of pressure in the corner. If there is somebody in MK, I'm curious as to the clock and whether it's counting up there, because on Sky Bet on iFollow, they've stopped the clock at 45 and started the injury timer. And I was looking forward to seeing it getting past 45 minutes. Yeah, and I'm interested to see who's there. They've got lots of youth, like other than Mo. It's a couple of 23-year-olds that are up front that could go in there in the midfield, center midfield. Other than what they've got there, those Irish center backs that are, or sorry, Irish midfielders that are 21. I mean, they'd have some experience in the back still on the bench. That was a good play by Waters and some good hustle to get there defensively. Oh, Waters. Oh, I would have loved that little chip down to be able to just run after it because the line was there. Give it to Mendy. 5 minutes of extra time. We're a minute and 40 in. For those of you that are just with us for the first time, what I normally do is, and I will be doing today, is I'm just going to put, oh, and I don't have the streamer up. I'll have to put up the Fighting Tech Gremlins screener instead, and we'll be back in a little bit of time. Give everybody a chance to go and refill their coffee for us. So you, Andrew, you were in the tech end for the yeah, it was the tech end that he scored in, because I can remember the fans cheering. So you were in the tech end for the Knots game. That would have been dreamy, absolutely epic. It's amazing. I think I've got a half dozen memories like that. I mean, my first one that I can remember being etched in my mind was a hockey goal during the World Junior Hockey Championships against the old Soviet Union when Canada scored to win gold. I could still remember all of that, the signs that were around the stadium. Here's a question. Do they let signs into stadiums in England? Because you see flags all the time. And I've seen little placards and scarves, but like the larger signs. Differences between the North American and the UK fan base. We have to wonder who's potentially coming in with our subs, um, because I'm still surprised Hosanna is a sub. I assume that Bickerstaff is listed because they wanted to have 2 forwards listed in the substitution. So if anybody comes in, it's got to be Palmer, right? Um, so who's coming in? Hayden to maybe spell O'Connell in the back, and then Jordan. And do you think Ford's coming in? Like, I'm surprised that Boyle didn't make the list at all. So yeah, I find that all curious. Cannon and Barnett, they just head down, go. So they're upset because we threw the ball away and they didn't have an opportunity to play. And especially when they gave Mo the penalty for punting that one into the air, probably thinking the same thing should have happened. So we're going to take a break. I'm not going to be able to play the right video because I changed them up yesterday because they had the logos, and then I uploaded the same one twice. So I'm going to have to go back to the starting soon one. And we'll be back. Enjoy getting your coffee. We'll see you guys in a little bit. 2-1 sitting at the half, so we're still certainly into this one. And yeah, it's just nice to have some football back that means something, right? All right, we'll be back.
And we're back. Looking at the scores there that are up. Mansfield being up, that's a little bit of a surprise to me. Sutton, I wouldn't have expected them to take it to Notts County, 2-0. But Bradford being down, Swindon no goal, Grimsby no goals. So looking at the analytics, it's always fascinating. Way more people who sniffed around and went in and out than we normally have, probably double what we had during the preseason. So I guess that's to be anticipated. How well have Wrexham played? Hugarb, it's we came out poor. First 20 minutes were didn't have a lot offensively to speak of. It was mostly MK Dons coming towards us. We had the unfortunate O'Connell had a rough first half. That's probably one of the roughest first halves I've seen by any one player. With the I guess he had probably 4 mistakes in the first half. He had obviously the own goal with nobody else around, ball into the box, and got a head to it, trying to push it in behind, and instead it went into the back of the net. He had the yellow card from a little bit lazy getting to the ball and got beat and threw in the shoulder and knocked a guy out of play. Late getting to the ball. That was a struggle as far as the first half goes for the first 20 minutes, but things turned around, and I'd say it was about 50-50 after that. The Dons certainly had a couple of chances. Fozzie was called on to make that save and did, sort of 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way through the first half. But it was not the prettiest of starts. I did see Andrew. I see that comment that you made with respect to Hayden coming in and potentially getting coming in for a midfielder to allow O'Connor to stand up. I mean, that makes that a lot of sense to me. So I don't agree with you, Andrew, as much as it's worth. But I'm with Brendan on his comment regarding taking Lee off. Got to have him on. You've got to trust him, because we're down by a goal. If this was a tie, I'd consider taking him off. But I think you've got to put your faith in him to recognize not to do anything foolish to get the extra yellow card and be sent off, because we need to have him to help square us up front. As far as links to watch, you need iFollow. You're going to have to pay for iFollow to both El Malote and to I'm not even going to pronounce that one. You're going to have to either find a dodgy stream somewhere, get a Fire Stick if you need to, or just pay the fee. The benefit of paying the fee is 80% of what you're putting goes directly to the club. So it's one way to make sure that we're supporting, even though we can't get to the games. It's one way to support. And Andrew, I don't know whether we do this in the half or otherwise, but and if you're there, just let me know, because I have a question for you, having your experience in Derry and speaking about Mr. McLean, the controversial position he takes that we'll find out about more, I guess, in November. Because I understand where he's coming from, but I'm curious as to what your take was. That's so obviously if following along on Twitter with McLean, the pushback from him has been his stance with respect to the poppy. And some people call him an IRA sympathizer or otherwise, but obviously, speaking of the troubles that happened in Derry back in the 1972, where it was 12 people who were killed and additional injured, that he's decided to not wear the poppy in November matches, the jersey with the poppy on it that are sold to raise funds for the Legion there. And I respect that decision. Free country, absolutely everything's okay in the world with that, and I get it. But for the people that are in and around Derry, the Northern Irish, is that refusal to wear the poppy more fairly common? And I guess that's the question that I had, or is it a unique thing
for a player or anyone to end up saying, I'm not going to wear the poppy because of what it represents with the British military, considering that it was that military that, I mean, Prime Minister Cameron actually apologized for their actions after the investigation was complete. So I'm just curious as to what the sense is, if you have any idea in Northern Ireland with respect to the British military and the wearing of the poppy in remembrance, and if it's a common protest or if it's just exclusive to McLean. Because obviously for a lot of the English football players, they were critical. And some were happy that he's no longer playing football for an English club. I'm on board for people to do what they think is right. Doesn't harm anybody. It's, you know, politics and sport are often intertwined, although people object to it. It's happened for centuries, decades at least. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that platform, if you have any thoughts at all. And maybe that's not the place here. Then a couple of other thoughts, just thinking about things while the half was going on. It might be nice, maybe Brendan, if you're listening or otherwise, to have a bit of a hot stove during the halftime rather than shutting it down. I noticed the numbers didn't completely fall off the map, but I did probably lose a couple there by taking the break. I need the break to make sure I can plug in with the wife and the family and make sure everything's okay. But potentially there's a hot stove or somebody else can take over for me. And the other thing is, just going to put everybody on notice that when it comes to the Wigan game, I'm probably not going to be able to do it. Work commitments, it's an 11:45 start, 11:45 or 11. I'd have to double check, but in any event, I have a work commitment. I'm a lawyer by trade, and a client needs me at that specific window, and I've tried to move things around to keep things free. So if I'm happy to look to pass over the keys. Brendan, if you're interested, if nobody else, we might have to just hit the pause and just do the league games only. I don't think I can justify jumping onto the computer at work, especially because I don't have a green screen and I've got material in behind me that there's no way for me functionally to be able to do it. So that'll be a challenge. So the watch party may be on hold for Tuesday unless I'm able to find somebody who's interested in taking over the keys and running it. But yeah, that sounds good to me. I'll connect with you for sure, because I'd love to keep the momentum going. It is continuing to grow. We've added Brazil. We've added Argentina. To the list with we've had Greece, Wales, the US, Canada. And I think we even had for a moment somebody from the UAE. So anyway, second half is back on. We're now 15 seconds in. If you're just joining, if you haven't had a chance to turn it on or you've got the volume down, jump back on, because we're playing, we're live. Wrexham going right to left on your computer screen. The Don's going the other way. And I didn't see any first half substitutions. I would have been surprised if in a game that it would have come on in the first half. Oh, and I've got the music playing. Oof, I don't know. Middle ball, that put us into trouble. That was well played. Cannon on the hustle back and the save. Lazy ball up by Tozer kind of had them coming downhill on us with that intercept. My game time right now, 46 minutes, 20 seconds. 46 minutes, 20 seconds. And I think what might have happened with that previous reload or that previous catch up, I was 4 minutes behind, and Andrew said I went to 2 minutes behind. And I think the reason for that might have been I had to hit that reload button when I blocked the, well, I don't know who he was a fan of, but the individual who came on and didn't have anything positive to contribute, just a criticism. Like I said, I'll take opposing fans. If it's constructive discussion and a little bit of banter is always nice, but if you're just walking in to spout off, I'm probably going to end up just clicking the block button. The problem is as soon as I hit the block button, it forced me to do a reload into the box. Cannon, oh, blocked. Well done, Cannon. Get too much. Oh, I thought that had too much on it, but it turned out being right in the middle of the box. I'm loving this start. Oh, that was kind of a nothing ball. Keep the pressure on, boys. Controlling and setting it back up in the midfield. Let's get into it. I will take this. If this is the second half team, then you wonder where was this in the first half, because we're swarming. Come on. That was a nice little ball there by Elliott. All good, Andrew. The internet doesn't like the rain. .48 minutes, 30 seconds if you're trying to get everything timed up for what you need to do. I know for you, Dale was telling me in a private message, he's got quite the system going on. He's streaming onto the TV. He's got the desktop in front of him, or the laptop in front of him. And I believe he's listening to Mark Griffiths instead of the broadcast as well. So Mendy gets the clear. The other thing I'm enjoying is you're keeping all of the play towards us, even though the first half it was all down the right-hand side. Now it's been all action on the left-hand side. So playing up for the cameras. Yeah. The rain slowing the ball down. It just seems to be one of those things where there's been a couple of times where there ends up being an interception and a delayed one just because MK is able to get to the ball because it doesn't have enough steam. Nice tackle. Oh, frick. I mean, that was a challenge in the middle of the field. And I actually thought that wasn't going to be a foul either way. Awkward tackle, ended up taking the body sort of into the groin thigh area, went down, played advantage. The referee did. And they had all the time in the world to just kind of push it through the middle of the field. Yeah, I don't know if that was bad D as much as it was all set up, taking advantage of the fact that a turnover in the middle that would have been unexpected. Yeah, it's just sort of an unlucky bounce. Yeah, I guess, yeah, fair comment. Should have passed it wide before he lost it and being able to. I don't know what you do with that ball in the circumstances. Because he was probably looking and thinking is turning it upfield.
So yeah, failed clear, just getting it upfield because even though he instead of going wide, he sort of pumped it down the middle, got blocked, tried to recover, took the shot, and then at that point, when the turnover happened, it was just turning it downfield, right? And everybody scrambling to get all caught up. And then when they lose the ball, we don't get to take advantage. Like he just went down there and was able to recover. That's one of those things where just unlucky bounce. Well, if you're an MK Dons fan, the question that I had was where were you going to get the offense elsewhere? And Lycos looked good for them. That's not good news for us, obviously, but I had doubts whether they had anybody up front who was going to be able to do anything. And he's looked good both in scoring and in making sure that Mo was getting the ball as well. So what are we asking for here, Brendan? We're looking Hayden to come in for O'Connell, Hayden to come in for a midfielder, and O'Connor are moving up, and then Dalby in for Waters. Ah, just give it away. Just give it away. Then here's the question that you have in a 3-1 game is if you bring Palmer in and he replaces Waters, I assume that's the move, based on just the run of play. Do you hold back on one and give Bickerstaff a run in the last 10 minutes? And then take Dalby out for Bickerstaff and see what the young lad can do. So those would be my 3 subs, I guess, is in the immediate Hayden for a midfielder, as Andrew suggested, to allow O'Connor to move up and Hayden to take care of the back. And Fozzie mishits and it's going out of play. Palmer coming in for Waters and then hold another sub and then bring in Bickerstaff for Dalby just to try and, because we're down, right? I know that leaves Davies on the bench. Ford is an option on the bench, but I'd say 60th minute, that would be the sub. Yeah, I get it. But Dalby hasn't looked bad. He's had the one misplay. Jesus, another bad, lazy pass back. Is it just the rain only affecting one team? Because we're putting ourselves in jeopardy frequently with just not getting the ball through. 3 up top. I mean, part of me wants to send the message to O'Connell that you can't have a first half like that either. But still lots of game left.
Get one here in the next little bit, and it's a completely different game. Yeah, Andrew, that's my read. Is every through ball we've tried to have, it has been light and allowed MK to run onto it and turn it over the other way. Not everyone, but it seems like it's happened frequently. And so if he's going with a third up top, I'm assuming that he's taking them from the midfield and not from the wings, and running like a 4-4-3 or something along those lines for the last little bit. Haven't seen Wrexham chase a lot of games because when we started streaming, even though there was a lot of last half magic. See, and their passing just looks entirely crisp, right? Like that little interplay between those three players down the left-hand side, ball into the middle, running onto it, back, the other guy goes past him, and they just 4 passes, and they've made all that space. Oh, he took a center half off. Really relying on the pace. I guess that's the question: is McLean on the left wing, is he as fast as Mendy? Because in Parky's setup, he really relies on the pace of his wing backs to get up and down the field. Does McLean have the pace to do that sort of thing? I'm good ball. Oh, I thought he played that well enough. That was a tough ball for Mendy to deal with, so can't be that critical. Oh, sounds like we've got somebody lining up from the broadcaster talking on the sideline. Mr. Palmer? Yeah. Oh, Bickerstaff's coming in now. Palmer, Bickerstaff, and Jordan Davies. Dolby. Billy Waters. Oh, that's interesting because I thought Andy'd had a good game, but I get it. All right. Yeah, that's what I've got is Cannon, Waters, and Dolby off. I mean, that does move away your 3 forward idea, Andrew, that has happened in the past, unless he's going to move maybe Lee up into the forwards later. But let's see if this changes the dynamic. Off the head. Yeah, he was, Brandon. That's one of those ones. How much I'm not playing the game, Brandon. So it's the fast reaction time, but that's one of those ones where I don't entirely hold him responsible for that one. It was as you said, he probably should have got it out wide.
but I can see where he's got the ball and he's trying to do upfield. And then the unfortunate collision. So some fault there, but Mendy with the wheels and the dance. Nice. We'll take that. Get after it. No need to apologize with me, Andrew. It's just nice to have you kicking around. We certainly got our club here. 4 or 5 people who are consistently here that I'm enjoying you guys being here, hoping to add to that. Give it the Bicker staff. That was Lee should have just let that one roll off. I think Lee didn't know that Jake was to his right. If he would have left that, oh, I'm gonna lose my microphone. Oh no. Yep. That's how he scores all of his goals. I had to hit the mute button so I could curse. I didn't see the offside. I was looking over on the chat when it immediately went over, Andrew, so I'll have to take your word for it. Well, it was Lako, not Mo. Oh, did they put the flag up? No, they didn't put the flag up. Oh. I haven't seen enough to be able to tell me one way or another that he was offside. I mean, I'll have to take. It certainly looked close. (4-1) at home. Oh, too many people in the box. There's no way that could go through. I'll tell you what did happen is the viewership has tanked on the chat. A lot of people deciding to call it frustrating. So more frustrating for O'Connell sitting on the side, or more frustrating for Hayden sitting on as a substitution and not getting into the game? Because I will admit I didn't have O'Connell or O'Connor. Well, obviously O'Connor was going to be on the pitch, but in the midfield. But the experiment of putting him back or putting him in the midfield that happened in the US tour, I would have kept that because it looked solid to me, and especially considering we went out and got center backs for a reason. Hayden healthy, Boyle being brought in, Tozer, I was like, that's our 3. That's going to be our solid 3. %. Not throwing in the season. I'm not saying that it's not there. I mean, I think for us, there's an opportunity to make some hay in September.
I've sort of set October as a benchmark, because if we get out of October with Mullen potentially coming back, having gone through a series of games which you would expect that we're taking some bagging some points out of, that we'll have an idea where we're at that point. Well, and that's an interesting one, because if you would have talked to me before this game started, Andrew, I would have said that we've largely answered a lot of those questions, right? By putting Boyle in there and Hayden being healthy. Um, so Norman, Newport County man last year. I would have thought we took care of our center back issues. And then it just seems odd to me that we went with O'Connell, who's not one that I had in the top three, and then put O'Connor back there instead of in the midfield, leaving another one of our top three off the list entirely, not even to come in as a sub. But I guess that could be the knock to Boyle. Who knows? Well, we're going to have to get going. 22 minutes plus injury time. We're going to have to start filling the net. And I think the question is we're looking for creative ways to get goals here because of Mullen being out. Bickerstaff, he can let's set himself up. Here it is for immortality with a crazy hat trick at the end. It's good advice, Caesar. I'm with you. I'm still calm. Lots of season, lots of runway left. That's fascinating, Andrew, because I thought that O'Connor was going to be a figurehead in the middle for the season because of the set pieces, and I still think that that's a possibility, and probably well, personally, where I think he belongs is I really liked what he had done in the midfield over season with and with the set pieces. And I thought it made sense to me with what I thought we had in the back on the back line. But it'll be interesting to see. Not much that we're going to be able to glean off of the Wigan game because it's an EFL Cup game, and I don't know what Parky's going to be doing this year. As far as are we running that out and sending out the big guns to try and advance in that competition, or not. Good ball, Jake. Nothing in that, especially for a penalty. Oh, as I said during the video that I did for the MK Dons, I said I'm plastic. I'm not Parky by any stretch, and I think I'm not saying you're plastic, but I repeat exactly what you're saying. I'm not Parky. Parky knows what he's doing. Was not expected, but I'm not going to question the man and say he was wrong. The biggest surprise for me was of all of it was Hosanna. I mean, I guess if you've been with me for the preseason stuff, Andrew and Brandon have been. Dale's been there for a couple. That's been the one player for Wrexham that I've been like, how does he fit into what we have, and when and where does he fit into what we have? And I just don't see it. Yeah, and I'd like to say that, Andrew, that we're unique and brilliant in that, but I think if you were to do a poll on Twitter of who our three center backs should be, assuming everybody's healthy, and that's it. I haven't heard anything different. Oh well, not true. There have been a couple who have said O'Connell, and largely it's been O'Connell instead of Hayden. Tozer throw incoming. Yeah, whether it's they've been organized, I don't think that they've necessarily been pressed. Tozer screaming at the crowd to get into it. A little bit light on the throw. Oh, still landed to us. Jordan up over top with the header. He had time. He had space. I actually think if I was to pick a man of the match, that it would probably Cannon would be on it, and I think Barnett would be on the list too, because that first half was basically entirely him, despite Mendy getting the goal. 73 minutes, 40 seconds in. That's where I'm at. If you're timing things up, it's gone relatively quiet, Andrew. It seems to be the two of us having the conversation. And Andrew, when you get your internet corrected, I'd love to send you the guest link and have you join us for a little bit. And when I say join us, be on the chat. Just have your mug up on here with me. Dispossessed. That was good by O'Connor. They've been good at neutralizing Mendy's speed the second half with those, just getting the ball. Come on. Oh, back leg. That went through underneath him, and then it would hit the back right leg, I think. Went 5-hole through the middle of his legs, and I think he swung his back leg around. Yeah, it did. It was going through and then bounced off of his leg. Saved by the boot under his rear. Yeah, I have no criticisms of Barnett today, and direct as he always is. I mean, he's a train on a one track down the right side, right? And it works for him. Even sometimes was it the Philly game or was it the Man U game? He looked at times out of control with the ball at his feet, chugging down the right side, but it just the ball seems to stick to him. Nice little play by Bickerstaff there. Jordan, bring it down. But that was enterprising. I will take that. I'll tell you what, Bickerstaff has looked good. I mean, on what we've seen comparing him to Waters and Dalby, him and that little interplay that he's had both with Lee and then he's had Palmer. Jake's been doing his thing. I wish our chat did a poll. It's too bad it doesn't, because it'd be nice to have a man of the match that we could just keep track of on an ongoing basis, at least from our perspective. I think if I had to take one person to vote on, I'd probably say Barnett, to be fair. Barnett, not Barnett, Barnett. Oh, I think, Dale, that's a North American thing. There's two things that happen in North America, or maybe if it's even just hockey, that I would never anticipate seeing over in Wales or in England during a football game. And one is fans leaving early. It's a very much smaller segment. I'm not saying it's nobody, but a much smaller segment. And the second thing is throwing jerseys onto the pitch, because that happens often in North America. When you get frustrated with a club, you take your jersey off and toss it. Well, Andrew, you just let me know if you ever get into the situation where you're like, I think I've got an internet connection. You have an outstanding invitation whenever you want to join. And you know what is disappointing as it is it wrong that I still feel happy that there's football on? Like, I'm still giddy. And Hosanna's getting into the game. Am I the only one who doesn't get it? Barnett off and Ford on, yep. And then Hosanna in for Mendy. You calling the wingbacks to run, I guess you got to call them off. But I'm curious if you guys had another man of the match at the 79th minute here that we're in so far. Who would you be giving it to? Maybe we'll just keep track on an informal poll. There's only a half dozen of us, and I'll have to look at something maybe more substantive if we end up adding more people to the mob. It is nice to see the numbers are a little bit higher throughout the day, especially Caesar, you guys joining. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm with you, Andrew, except today it looked really good in that game time that he's got. So is there an opportunity to say, I mean, I guess it's a message to be sent to Waters if you were to bring out the lineup for, well, maybe not the Wigan game, because I don't know if we're putting out a proper club, like running out a proper club for that. But you get to the Wimbledon game next weekend, it would say something to put Bickerstaff out there with Palmer or something at the start. Another crazy deflection, like just the touches. Touch in the midfield off the back heel. Fortunate it didn't land in front of them. Then we chip it down the left-hand side and a bad touch and it goes right to them. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just looking for who was the best of the bunch. Didn't have to be pretty. And I mean, I think Mendy potentially in the running. Barnett. I can't think of anybody else. And Andrew, it's always a shocker because those like hockey jerseys, especially made, they're $220 Canadian. They're Hosanna, Jordan Davies. There we go. We found it. I was like, don't sail this over. Don't sail this over. Don't sail this over. Run it back. 10 minutes. Let's go. Caesar. You're exactly right. Get after it. Have a little fun with it. Chase this thing down, boys. Yep, the cavalry. I love that from Jordan because he's had those 2-3 chances that were there that all flew over, and not only just someone kept it below Brendan. Jordan specifically had two opportunities before that sailed, weren't even close. I love the fact that he just put his head down and put his foot through it and set it up. That was a nice idea there from Lee. All right, let's have some fun with it. Andrew, if it is Dover all over again, I'm going to celebrate.
I'm all for it. And we don't need the win here. Let's just get two more. Then we'll see what happens. But just get two more. Let's get the corner. Let's keep the push on. Not much for injury time, though, I don't anticipate. I mean, we had Cannon after the goal went down. Andrew, you're still a little bit ahead of me, so now I'm all wondering what's happening. The cross goes in, back post. Oh, there it is. That was an interesting ball to go that far back post, have somebody waiting, nice back in. Mm. Mm. Still beautifully entertaining, though, isn't it? 4-2 down, 6 minutes left. Yeah, I love that. O'Connell, late on the kick, causes a mess in the midfield and we lose possession. O'Connell. Mm. It's tough to be critical of somebody who's a way better footballer than I will ever be, even on their worst day, probably when they were 10 years old. But um, just not a solid day for the man. Tozer with the misplay by Palmer. Yeah, and it might be more of a Canadian thing. To be fair, I've only ever seen it largely in Canadian markets. Oh, Bickerstaff with the little enterprising right foot there to sneak by. Can you imagine if that little getting that right foot around to the back there? Oh, if he would have just got that down. 5 minutes behind. Am I gonna have to hit the reset button here? I might do it just to see what happens. I'm gonna hit the reload and see if that loads me back up. So we got a corner. I don't know if that jumped us up. Yeah, 5 minutes sounds about right. So yeah, I'm at the 86-minute mark, or 86 and a half minutes. Got the corner going in here. Oh, was that not pulled down? Was he not grabbed by the jersey there and pulled down on that attempted bicycle kick? I would like to see a replay on that one because it looked like that was just the nice little attempt to do the bicycle kick attempt volley. Yeah, no disagreement from me there, Caesar. I don't know what Ollie's going to give. To be fair, though, that's I guess the only question mark that I've got is it's been a while, sort of
a decline in performance based on where he was at the start of last season. But I'm hoping he can find himself. And I'm all for testing the theory. 2.5 minutes to the 90 for me. I don't know if hitting the reload button, Andrew, you'll have to let me know. You thought I was 5 minutes behind. I'm at 88 minutes here in 10 seconds. Fozzie just gave that away and got it back. Turn it for fun, boys. Let's go. Oh, way too far. Too much mustard. Always the optimist, Andrew. I'm starting to get into that resignation mode. Resignation mode? No, feeling resigned. How's that? That's probably better. And I say that just because there's been too many missed touches of the ball that we're going to have to put together a pretty perfect little string here. Because credit to MK Dons, they haven't really given us much. We've had to earn it. Bickerstaffs look good. Nice little ball. Can he get there? Tozer. Run, Tozer. Run. Run, Tozer. Oh, he's going to play it. Good ball. Oof. Oh, and I hear the magic going on outside. Welcome to the early morning anger from the kids. Whoa, 7 minutes. All right. Two things while we wait here for the substitution to come in. If you haven't yet and you're on YouTube, even if you're not on YouTube, feel free to go there and follow along. I'd love for some hits on the subscribe button on just to, if you haven't already. Trying to get to the point where we can monetize things, and maybe I'll get a little bit of stuff to be able to pay for this service is all I'm asking for. So go ahead and do that. And then the other thing is if you were in Do we have time with 2 goals? I'm trying to decipher how I feel here. I'm blissfully happy that we've got the football back on. Wrexham's in the racecourse. We're in the EFL. I've loved being able to watch the game. This has been a lot of fun. Frustrated with the first 20 minutes. O'Connell's had a shocker of a game. But we found a way to score. And there's a positive, is we found a way to score. It hasn't just been all Mullen. And I mean, I guess that's true. You scored only 38 of the goals that we scored last. But we've been able to find ways to find the back of the net. There's been 2 things that are really concerning to me is the ease at which they've scored some of their goals by poor play in our center backs. Just running at us. And the second is turnovers in after gaining possession. We've given up the ball too much with just dead passes dying in the middle of the pitch. And that's the result of Cannon's goal. But even just the opportunity to get upfield has been decreased as a consequence. So I don't know what your thoughts are. I'm going to give my man of the match to Barnett for his play. I'll note that for the future if we ever decide to send him a box of donuts or something. Palmer searching there. And I'm not going to know how to pronounce this, Gethin, but anyway, it's nice to see somebody joining in as well. Gave us the extra time. It's got to be getting close now. Yeah, Brendan, thank you guys. Caesar, thank you for joining in. It's been a blast. I've still really enjoyed doing these. It's just nice to be able to watch the game and chat about it. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hey, and guys, feel free, social media, otherwise, you got other friends, tell them to join in. Still continuing to look to build this, but it's nice that we've got a core of, I'd say, probably about a half dozen to 8 of us. Brendan, we'll chat sometime over. It's a long weekend here in Canada. I don't know if it is down in the US, but I'll try and connect with you regarding Tuesday. 5-3. A beautiful day for football in the rain, a frustrating performance, a couple players that I'm going to suggest didn't step up. A little bit weak in some of the play through the middle, but we found some goals and there's some advantages there. I'm going to try and find a way to get some prep time to make some more videos regarding AFC Wimbledon. I'm probably not going to do the Wigan game. The EFL Cups just doesn't fire me up. And that's where we're at. Thank you guys so much for joining in, and we'll see you next time.